Hi students, today in this session we are going to discuss optical isomerism. In the previous video we have discussed about the structural isomerism, in stereo isomerism, configurational, conformational and geometrical isomerism. So the link for those videos will be provided in description. You first go through with that videos. Now let us discuss about optical isomerism. So before going to this optical isomerism, we have to know what is optical activity. Optical activity. So suppose if you take an ordinary light, that ordinary light consists of vibrations in all directions. Ordinary light consists of several wavelengths. That means it consists of vibrations in all directions and also consists of several wavelength ranges. So this is ordinary light. So when this ordinary light is passed through a Nicol prism, this is Nicol prism. This Nicol prism is made up of calcite crystal. When ordinary light is passed through a Nicol prism, it produces a plane polarized light. So this is the plane polarized light. That means it consists of only single wavelength. So here the vibrations of light are present in one direction only. So this is called plane polarized light. Or called monochromatic light. Monochromatic light means which consists of single wavelength. So that means here the vibrations are present in single directions only. Here it is single direction. So now when this plane polarized light is passed through a substance, here the substance, the sample is taken in a test tube. This is the sample. When this plane polarized light is passed through a sample, then the plane of the polarized light will rotate either towards clockwise direction or towards anti-clockwise direction. So generally the plane should be like this, but it will rotate towards clockwise direction with an angle theta, or it will rotate towards anti-clockwise direction with the same angle theta. So when the molecule rotates the plane of the polarized light either towards clockwise direction or towards anti-clockwise direction, then the molecule is said to be optically active molecule. Okay, clear? So if the molecule rotates the plane of the polarized light either towards clockwise direction or towards anti-clockwise direction, then the molecule is said to be optically active molecule. So here it is optically active molecule. So this phenomenon is called, this phenomenon of rotation of plane polarized light through clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction is called optical activity. So this phenomenon is called optical activity. The angle through which the rotation takes place is called optical rotation. Optical rotation, which is represented by theta. So here the angle through which the rotation takes place is called optical rotation theta. Okay. So now, so here the sample is taken in a test tube. So and it is passed through a plane polarized light. So when plane polarized light is passed through an optically active substance, then the plane of the polarized light will rotate towards clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. So sometimes some molecules will rotate in clockwise direction and some molecules will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. So the molecules which rotates the plane of the polarized light in clockwise direction or towards right are called dextromolecules. Dextromolecules. Whereas the molecules which rotates the plane of the polarized light towards anti-clockwise direction or towards left are called levomolecules. Levomolecules. And the rotation is called levorotation. So here the rotation is called dextrorotation and the rotation is called levorotation. Okay, clear? So here the rotation is represented by theta. So optical rotation is represented by theta. So from this optical rotation we can calculate the specific rotation. The specific rotation. So the specific rotation S is equal to theta by LC. So by using this theta value we can calculate the specific rotation. So specific rotation equal to theta by LC, where L is equal to length of the sample, and in decimeters, length of the samples in decimeters, whereas C is the concentration of solution. So by using this formula we can calculate the specific rotation of any molecule. So the entire set of apparatus is called polarimeter. So here it is called polarimeter. So in this polarimeter we can calculate the optical activity of the molecule, whether it is optically active or optically inactive. Okay, clear? So the optical rotation or specific rotation can be calculated by using this formula. Okay, so here L is the length of sample in decimeters, and that is the length of the polarimeter tube. Here it is the polarimeter tube. So the polarimeter tube length can be considered as L. Okay. Now the molecule, dextro molecule, is represented by small d, or it can represented by plus also, whereas the levo molecule is represented by small l or minus. Okay, so dextro molecule is represented by small d and levo molecule is represented by small l. So here the molecule which rotates the plane polarized light towards right is called dextro and towards left is called levo. So here these two molecules will have same molecular formula but different rotation through plane polarized light. So some molecules will rotate towards right and some molecules will rotate towards left. Okay, so the molecules which are having same molecular formula but different rotation through plane polarized light are called simply optical isomers. Okay, clear? So now let us go to definition of optical isomers. So the compounds having same structural formula but differ in their behavior towards plane polarized light are called optical isomers, and that phenomenon is called optical isomerism. So here some molecules rotates in clockwise direction, some molecules rotates the plane of the polarized light in anti-clockwise direction. That means they will differ only towards the behavior towards the plane of the polarized light, but they will have same structural formula. So that's why those two isomers are said to be optical isomers. So one is dextro isomer, other one is levo isomer. Okay, clear? Dextro isomer and levo isomer. So here dextro isomer is represented by small d or plus, levo is represented by small l or minus. Remember carefully, this is small letter, that is small l, small d and small l. So the rotation represents small d and small l. Now what are the conditions to exhibit the optical isomerism? So for any molecule, what are the necessary and sufficient conditions to exhibit optical isomerism? So there are two conditions. The first one is the molecule should be chiral molecule. If the molecule is chiral molecule, then only it will exhibit optical isomerism. If the molecule should not possess any elements of symmetry, there should not be any elements of symmetry. It does not possess any elements of symmetry. So if these two conditions are satisfied by any molecule, then that molecule will exhibit optical isomerism. So let us check these two. What is chiral molecule and what are the elements of symmetry? So here chirality. So before going to that, we have to know what is chiral carbon. So chiral carbon means any carbon which is having 4 different atoms or groups is said to be chiral carbon. Suppose if you take lactic acid, this is the formula for lactic acid. So in this lactic acid, this carbon possesses 4 different atoms or groups. So here this carbon possesses hydrogen atom, OH group, methyl group and COH group. So this carbon carries 4 different atoms or groups. So that's why this carbon is called chiral carbon. So this chiral carbon is represented with star. Okay. So this is chiral carbon. So any molecule which consists of one chiral carbon is generally chiral molecule. So this is chiral molecule. Chiral molecule. So any carbon which possesses 4 different atoms or groups is called chiral carbon. So if any molecule consists of one chiral carbon, that molecule is said to be chiral molecule. Okay. And next, second point, elements of symmetry. Elements of symmetry. So elements of symmetry means like plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and axis of symmetry. So plane of symmetry means the plane which divides the molecule into two equal halves is said to be plane of symmetry. Suppose if you take this molecule, this is tartaric acid. Tartaric acid. So this tartaric acid is present in tamarind. This lactic acid is present in, this is lactic acid. This lactic acid is present in, milk. Okay, this tartaric acid. So this molecule will have a plane of symmetry in this direction. So this plane divides the molecule into two equal halves. So that's why this tartaric acid possesses some elements of symmetry. Okay, so this is plane of symmetry. So you can consider anything, plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, or axis of symmetry. So the molecule does not possess any elements of symmetry. Okay, so if any molecule satisfies these two conditions, one is it should consist of chiral carbon and it does not consist of any elements of symmetry. Here if you take this carbon is chiral carbon. This is chiral carbon, means 1, 2, 3, this one is fourth group. So 4 are different groups. So that's why this carbon is chiral carbon. But this molecule is not chiral molecule. Okay, clear? So even though it consists of chiral carbon, this will possess elements of symmetry, that is plane of symmetry. This is plane of symmetry. That's why it is not an optically active molecule. So here if you consider this carbon also, this carbon is also chiral carbon. So this consists of one hydrogen, OH, COOH, and this one is the entire group. So 4 are different groups. So that's why this carbon is also chiral carbon. That means this molecule consists of 2 chiral carbons. 2 chiral carbons. But the entire molecule does not undergo or does not possess chirality. That means the molecule is not chiral. That is, this is a chiral molecule. A chiral molecule. So go through these terms carefully. This is chiral molecule and this is achiral molecule. Achiral molecule may consist of chiral carbons or not. Whether it consists of chiral carbons or not, we should consider the elements of symmetry. Even though it consists of chiral carbons, the molecule will possess a plane of symmetry. That's why this molecule is not chiral molecule. This is achiral molecule. Okay, clear? So this consists of only one chiral carbon. If it consists of one chiral carbon, there is no any elements of symmetry. Okay, there is no any elements of symmetry. That's why it is a chiral molecule. But in this case, it consists of 2 chiral carbons and possesses elements of symmetry. That is plane of symmetry here. So that's why it is an achiral molecule. Okay, clear? So this chiral molecule is also called as asymmetric molecule. Asymmetric molecule. And this achiral molecule is also called as symmetric molecule. Symmetric molecule. And this chiral carbon is also called as asymmetric carbon. Asymmetric carbon. Okay, clear? So the necessary condition is it should consist of at least one chiral carbon. If it consists of only one chiral carbon, the molecule is chiral molecule. If the molecule consists of more than one chiral carbon, then we have to check whether the molecule consists of any elements of symmetry or not. Here it consists of 2 chiral carbons, but it possesses plane of symmetry. So that's why it is not a chiral molecule. It is a achiral molecule. Okay, clear? Or symmetric molecule. Symmetric molecules means which exhibit symmetry. That's why it is symmetric molecule. Asymmetric molecule means which does not exhibit any symmetry. That's why it is an asymmetric molecule. Okay, clear? So in brief, we can say chirality means, suppose if you take one molecule, suppose if you take this hand, so what is the mirror image of this hand? This is the mirror image of this hand. So these two are the mirror images to each other. So if you superimpose these two, so this one, so these two are not superimposable, so thumbs are not coincide. So that means this molecule has a mirror image. Suppose if you take this is a molecule, this molecule has a mirror image like this. So these two mirror images are non-superimposable. Here thumb is not coinciding. So that's why these two will have non-superimposable mirror image relationship. So any molecule which has non-superimposable mirror image, so this has a mirror image, this one, so this is not superimposable. So any molecule which has non-superimposable mirror image, then that molecule is said to be chiral molecule. Non-superimposable mirror image. We can check this point only. So rather than checking these 2 points, we can check only this point. If any molecule will possess non-superimposable mirror image relationship, then the molecule is said to be chiral molecule. Okay, clear? So if we can check these 2 points or this one point. So if any molecule satisfies this condition, then it will satisfy these 2 conditions only. Okay. So the molecule which is non-superimposable on its mirror image is said to be a chiral molecule. So chiral molecules, only chiral molecules will exhibit optical isomerism. So we can take some examples to explain further. So now let us take this one, lactic acid. So this lactic acid formula COOH and H and CH3. So suppose if you take the mirror image of this molecule, the mirror image of this molecule is like this, COOH, H and CH3. So these two are mirror images to each other and does not superimpose with each other. So suppose if the molecule is superimposed here, placed here, it will not superimpose. Here these groups are different. So that's why this lactic acid exhibits some optical isomerism. So this lactic acid rotates the plane polarized light towards right. So that's why it is called D-lactic acid or plus lactic acid. This rotates towards in anti-clockwise direction. That's why it is called L-lactic acid or minus lactic acid. Okay, clear? So these two have same molecular formula but different rotation through plane polarized light. So this molecule rotates the plane of the polarized light towards clockwise direction. That's why it is called dextro molecule. And this molecule rotates the plane of the polarized light towards left hand side or anti-clockwise direction. So that's why it is called L-lactic acid, represented by minus. Okay. So in the next video we will discuss so many fundamental definitions about this isomers, that is optical isomers like racemic mixture, enantiomers, diastereomers. So many fundamental definitions are there. So we can go through with in the next video. Okay. Please like the session, share the session and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.